Welcome to Backstage with Becca B, with special guest Maiya Quansah-Breed. Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Backstage with Becca B. On this episode, after studying theater at Guildford School of Acting, where she participated in school productions of The Secret Garden, Hair, Cats, and more, she got cast as Catherine Parr on the 6 UK tour and went on to make her West End debut as Catherine in the original West End cast of 6. She recently starred as Mimi in Hope Mill Theater's production of Rent, and make sure to look out for her singing on The Cases, a new musical album, which drops soon. Please welcome Maiya Quansah-Breed. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. I just got back from moving out of an apartment in LA.
Oh, wow.
For the time being, but because times are so crazy, you know.
Yeah.
But
all the stress of moving, I know what that feels like.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of times being crazy, how has this affected you during this time? Because you're in theater and it's affected the theater industry a lot.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's been crazy, but I know it'll be fine. I know we'll come back bigger and better, but it's obviously just the in-between bit. It's we get to do a little bit of a job, but then it comes to a standstill because obviously COVID, and so it's upsetting, and obviously everyone can't wait to get back to it, but obviously I understand we have to stay safe and protect each other and stuff, but we're all like this to get back on stage.
Oh yeah, no, I like that to see people on stage again and perform again.
Yeah.
I have yet to see 6.
Oh, no way.
I was planning to go out and see it in New York this past year, and then everything happened. And I was like,
yeah, but I wouldn't even be mad about it because the night it closed the night it was supposed to open. They didn't even get to go up, so which is such a shame. I remember hearing about it because I was on holiday at the time and I was so gutted for them.
I know, it was awful. It was just
this that's what I think the worst thing about the pandemic, it's been so unforgiving. I think that's why it's been so hard, because it just seems to take, and it gives a little bit and it takes again, and you're like, oh, do you know what I mean? So it is a shame.
Yeah, I know people who are supposed to understudy or roll the day that it
exactly. Same happened to my friend. He was supposed to go on for one of his covers, the first time he was ever supposed to get on. All of his family came to watch him, and then they got told 20 minutes before they were going on we can't go, everywhere's closed, the West End's closed, you can't go on. And he's all of his family traveled to come and see him.
That's heartbreaking.
I know, awful. Just
awful. I want to talk about something a little more exciting.
Yes.
Have you always known that you wanted to be a theater performer and entertain people for a living?
That is a good question. I didn't, when I was younger, I remember when I was started singing and stuff, and family members and friends and friends of friends and all that would be oh, you need to go on X Factor, or you need to go on Britain's Got Talent, or get on The Voice, and I just wasn't interested. I remember just being no, that's not what I want to do. But at the time I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was 5. So do you know what I mean? I was I want to be a designer. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And it wasn't until I got a little bit older, and when I started to realize that I could hold a tune and I could sing, that I wanted to do something with it, but I just didn't know what, because I really didn't want to do X Factor or anything like that. It's not the path I wanted to take. Nothing on the people who do, fair dues, you do you, but it just wasn't for me. And it wasn't until I got older, and then I started seeing theatre, and I had a singing teacher who put on these little shows type thing, and I did those with her, and I really enjoyed them. But I don't think I was still fully convinced that that was what I wanted to do. And then I think it was when I was 12. I think I was 12, and that's when it was the first moment I was that's what I want to do. Because I saw Kerry Ellis doing Nancy, and that made me want to do musical theatre after watching Oliver. So after then I made all the steps from being 13 to try and get into doing training and stuff. But I say I was a late starter or a slow burner, because I didn't start disciplined dance until I was 16. So when I went to college, I was surrounded by people who danced their whole lives, and I started from nowhere. I had no discipline training. Other than I did a couple of dance classes. I did a couple of ballroom classes when I was younger, because my friend used to do ballroom dancing, and I went to gymnastics for about 3 weeks when I was 5. Like I could like move, but I wasn't a dancer. Do you mean I'd never done tap, ballet, jazz? So it just wasn't under my belt. So it wasn't until I got older that I actually started. And to answer that, this is completely diversion off, but like people ask me like, is am I too old to start? Well, no, you're not too old to start, because I started at 16, and that's only what, 7 years ago. And I've achieved a lot in 7 years, and I feel I've come on leaps and bounds in my dance, never having danced before. So I think it's completely up to you when you want to start. Like, there's no age.
You just got to put your mind to it and work really hard. And obviously you've done that, and it's helped you out because you've had so much success over just a short period of time. And I feel like all that time was just like right after you finished school. What do you think helped you grow into becoming a well-rounded theater performer, besides like the like perseverance and like the like you obviously wanted to do it, and you made yourself work hard for it?
Yeah, I think when I was like 16, I was like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and very like hungry.
Yeah.
And I'm not the type of person who like lets myself slip behind because of my ability. So I was like, if you want to be good at something, I'm going to have to put the work into it. Like, I'm not just going to wake up one day and, like, I remember my friend called Michael Byers, but he's now called Michael Anderson. He was like one of the most incredible dancers I've ever seen, but he's come out the womb dancing. And and you know what, the best thing for me is being surrounded by people like that who were amazing at performing and dancing. I also had a friend called Thea, and she just was the most incredible, like, expressive dance, like the way she moved. And I was like so confused how one can move the body in that way and emote so well. So I feel like having those people around me really forced me to be like, right, I need to pick up myself, dust myself off, and really work hard here, because if I want to get up to their standard or even be remotely as good as them, I'm going to have to really work my bum off. And I'd like to say I did, because I used to stay after college like every day and be practicing tap and practicing jazz and doing ballet at the bar. And when I got to college, or say when I got to drama school, like I took like after I thought it was extracurricular jazz, and I know it was an extracurricular tap and extracurricular ballet, because I remember when I was in first year, I got put in like bottom set ballet, even though I'd done like ballet 2 years before, and I was like really annoyed by it. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm not gonna get myself angry. I'm just gonna prove them wrong. And I remember by the end of that year, when I'd done all my extracurricular ballet, and I'd like really worked hard in ballet, and not that I'm gonna be a ballerina, but like just for technique. And I remember the teachers being like, that you really did prove us wrong. And I was like, never underestimate me.
Yes.
So I just was hungry and was not letting myself falter behind. I always was like, no, I have to, if I want to go up to a certain standard, then the only person who's going to get me there is me, not somebody else. So.
Well, I saw you did cats during school too, and that has a lot of dancing in it. So obviously you picked up that dancing pretty quick.
That was one of the most amazing experiences, you know, like when we got told we were doing that, we were terrified, just because like when word gets out, it's like, oh, GSA is not a dancer school. Like why is GSA doing cats? And I feel like we proved those people wrong as well. Even people at GSA that were doubters too, I feel like we proved them wrong, because it was so seen as like an actor singer school. But like, I think we were the year that made them be like, wow, no, that people at GSA can dance. Like, we did cats, like people can dance. And it was one of the most amazing experiences. There is no better feeling, I kid you not. I can't remember what it's called now. I think it's what's it called? There's like each section has a name, and right at the end of the Jellicle Ball, you stand there and you go, da, 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 da. Oh, there is no other feeling like that. Like, honestly, it was, I'm even getting goosebumps talking about it. It was electric. Like, I've never been more tired, honestly. It was knackering, and we weren't even singing at the same time. It was so full on, but what an experience. What an experience.
The music in that show.
Yeah, and I'd never really like, not say been interested in cats, but never really looked at cats before. Never really like paid it much attention until I did it, and I was like, this show is unreal. The score, the music, the dancing,
Everything. And when you see it like on a big scale too, it's also like the lights, the sets, the everything.
yeah,
And I'm
I really wish I got to see it live. I wish I got to see it when it was on stage because I was mesmerized after we did it. I was buzzing over cats.
I mean, it's an incredible show. Did you do your own makeup for it too?
Yes, but we weren't allowed to do obviously like the original makeup and like original costumes for copyright and stuff. However, we did get to do the original choreography because Chrissy Cartwright, who is like literally right hand man to Gillian Lynn, well, right hand woman, and she came in and taught us all the choreography and obviously tweaked the bits where like you needed someone who could do about 500 backflips, and obviously we weren't acrobatics. And the thing is, when obviously when they cast cats, they cast people specifically for roles, and we were just taking on everything. So she came in and that was the original bit that we got to do, which was incredible. But the makeup, we had to like kind of like make it up ourselves type thing. It was a bit of a trial and error with the makeup, I'm not gonna lie. We had some makeups that were probably questionable at the beginning of the week, and then like by the end of the week we'd all like perfected our looks. But at the beginning of the week, because we've never like done cat makeup before, it was like we all came out looking like dogs or badgers, or we're just not like, because we weren't allowed to copy the original makeup. But also we can't just go on with a cat nose and whiskers and a couple of dots. Like that's not a cat. So yeah, we had to like kind of we got like a chart. We got a chart from like the people who made our costumes and stuff to be like, this is what your makeup will look like alongside your costume. So we kind of had that to go, but it wasn't exactly like the catness of it. It was like, for example, my character was Exotica, she was called, and my like signature thing was I had like a big red scar that kind of went like this, and I had one that kind of like came up this side of my face. I think it was this side of my face, but there was one here and like one here, and that was like my thing. But they didn't give me like the actual like breakdown of the face, so I just made it up. I think I did a good job though.
I mean, and you can put that on your resume now. Can do cat makeup or stage makeup of any kind, probably.
Yeah, like I didn't realize like how well you have to apply it. Like, thank God I don't really sweat in the face, but if I did, it would literally just be like mush like down the face.
Do they like do you keep it from like doing that with like powder? I guess.
Yeah, so the actual routine I did was powder, start your like face makeup, powder again, go over it, powder again, and then put the rest of your face on, powder it again. So you'd powder about 3 or 4 times, 5 times, and if you sweated more, then you had to like really set your face. So I used like the strongest setting spray afterwards. I dabbed like more powder on my face. If I ever got like 2 seconds off stage, I'd run upstairs to the dressing room, pat my face again, run back down. Not that, because I didn't really sweat loads in the face, but if you did, like, you just got a little bit shiny. So the place that you got shiny, and you would bake. That was another thing, not just powdering, but baking in powder. And you'd sit. I'd probably used to go into the dressing room probably 2 hours before just to bake for an hour before we went on stage, just so like, but it does like matte out your makeup a little bit, so I'd have to like reapply the makeup and then matte it again so it's more vibrant. Do you know what I mean? So it's like layers and layers to get that off. Oh gosh,
that's crazy. I'm sure that show in school helped you jumpstart your career a lot, but what other show besides Cats that you did in school do you think helped you with your career and helped your career take off post college and post school the most?
I would say Hair. I feel like, because Hair was the one we did before Cats, and that was called our what was it called? Our black box musical, or our no, what would they call it now? There's a name for it. It was the
small.
Yeah, it was like a smaller production. Sorry, Black Box was in second year, but this one was oh my gosh, I can't remember what it's called. But we had like a smaller theatre at GSA. It was like more like a studio, and they'd like make it into the theatre. So obviously it had all the like lights and everything. However, that space was very what's the word? Versatile. It was a versatile space. Yeah. But it didn't sit as many as say the the bigger theatre, the Ivy, and that smaller show was the one where I got to play. Oh God, what was she called now? I can't even remember her name. That's terrible, isn't it? Ronnie. I played Ronnie. So in like the original, like way back when, the original Hair, there was obviously way more tribe members, and as the years went on, the tribe that the like selected tribe members, and there's now not as many, but because obviously when you split a year in half, you had to cast everyone, so everyone got like the tribe members' names from when it was OG. And Ronnie was the one that sang Aquarius like back in the day, so it was wasn't Dion, it was Ronnie, so I played Ronnie.
Oh my gosh.
And I feel like that was my like moment to shine, because I didn't really get like cast in like the lead roles at GSA. I wasn't one that got all the lead roles and got notoriety and things like that. I just kind of like did my work, got on with what I was doing, and had a great time while doing it.
That's important.
And I just, yeah, that I feel like that was the first moment that I really like sunk my teeth into something when I was at GSA, and it was really nice, because I'd never felt before, like I didn't realize until now I'd left that, like that was my first like I'm going to sink my teeth into this character type thing, and I got to play an instrument, and I'd not done that in years, so I relearned an instrument for it. So it really like gave me a spark back, do you know what I mean? And that was when I got like quite a lot of agent interest after I did that. So that was the one where it kind of made me go like, I put myself on the map with that, and it was so much fun. Like oh my gosh, I loved doing Hair. I loved it. It was so good.
I was gonna say, I love that you said that you didn't get a lot of lead roles in school, because like that's also inspiration for people watching, that like even if they don't get the lead roles in their school right now, then that they can still go on to do great things.
100%. Because I was recently me in Rent in Manchester, and one of my really good friends, Luke, watched it, and he sent me the most gorgeous message. But he was just like, it was so nice for like everyone to see how amazing you are, because we didn't get that opportunity at GSA. He was like, I never really felt that you got given the opportunity to act, and he was like, you're a really good actor. And for me, to someone close to me to say that, I was like, do you know what, thank you so much, that really does mean a lot to me, because it just shows that like even if you're not at the top of the heap when you're at college or when you're at university or whatever, doesn't mean you're not gonna be when you get out into your field of work. And I'm not saying that like I've smashed it and do you know what I mean, but it's so nice that I actually am finally able to showcase what I can do. And I never ever believed that when I was going to come out of like training and studying that I would go into lead roles and be in the West End straight after graduating and get all these nominations. I didn't know that was going to happen. That wasn't in my forefront, and maybe I should aspire more for myself. Maybe I should think higher of myself, but I just don't. And it's not even that I'm not like, I don't dream of things and I don't think, oh, I want to achieve that. It's just I don't ever think these things are going to happen to me, and then they do, and I'm like, what? And that's what happened with Six, like, and that's what's happened since. I've managed to land on my feet, and I'm like, how is this happening? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
But like you said, just because you don't get them while you're in training or while you're studying or whatever, doesn't mean it's not going to happen when you're out in the world. It's not a reflection.
Yeah, exactly. So were you still in college when Six was doing Off West End?
So my friend Renee, Aragon, on the workshop version, when I was still at GSA, and I was in, I think it was the last, no, it was the first semester of my third year, sorry. But I didn't get to see it because they did it around December time, and it's the last like 2 weeks of GSA. So we had rehearsals, so I couldn't get into London to see her do it. Because we were rehearsing every night till 6, and then by the time you get a train, the show starts at 7:30. You don't make it because you got to get a train from Guildford. So I never got to see it, so I didn't know what this show was about. And then I got an audition through in like, I think it was the April. I'd just gone on holiday, I remember, and I came back, and then I got this audition for Six the musical, and I was like, what is this? But I was still at GSA at that point, because this is the point in third year where like you do start auditioning for things and people start getting jobs, or people have not left, but people have like gone at that point to do a job and they come back and do the showcase or whatever. And it was April that I got that audition through. So I did my first audition, just a song, and I was just like, I have no idea what this musical's about. And it wasn't until I got like the proper like breakdown, I was like, still don't know what this musical's about. Like, but obviously now I know everything about it.
Yeah, obviously.
But I'm obviously so grateful for Six and my journey and the people I met. And yeah, it was amazing.
What was your reaction when you heard that you got the role? And did you audition for any other Six Queens besides Catherine Parr?
So when I first auditioned, I got put in, well, you get like, when you recalled, you get obviously who they're going to put you up for. Because at that time, obviously they'd not got a cast of people. It's not so much that you can just audition for one part. It was, we have, because obviously Amy and Nat were obviously in it at that time. We didn't know they were going to be in it until like later rounds. But obviously they were auditioning for Aragon, Boleyn, Parr, Boleyn, Cleves, and I got put in for Boleyn, Cleves, and Parr, and yeah, and did them all. And but I think I probably connected more to Parr, not like subconsciously, not like on purpose, but looking back now, I probably connected more to Parr, and that's probably obviously why I ended up with Parr. But I'm just not Boleyn or not Cleves. Like looking at Lexi and Millie, like, can you imagine anybody else being them? Like when I was in it, like absolutely not. It's just not. It's a myth. And yeah, I was so happy. Like I was really happy. But I was auditioning for Motown at the same time, and I remember getting the no. I even got Six. I had Six. I found out I got it on the Tuesday, and on the Friday I got told a no from Motown, and I was gutted. Like I was so upset, and like I've said it before and I'll say it again. Even if you do have a yes, the no still hurt. Like the rejection still really hurts. That was like my first, like, not that I've not had rejection before then, because obviously I'd had auditions and not got any further. But this was like, okay, we're putting you on like hold, which is kind of like we're going to see like where to put you type thing. And then I got told a no, and that hurt, even though I already had a job. But that was obviously a blessing in disguise, and I just didn't see it at the time. I didn't see that like Motown was not my path.
Six was.
So I'm so grateful that I didn't get it, and then that's what I mean. Like that's the saying of everything happens for a reason. It really, really does, because that no happened for a reason. Because if I was in Motown and didn't do Six, now, not saying I wouldn't have been, not that I would have succeeded through Motown, but my career would have been completely different up until this point.
How crazy was it to basically pack up bags right after college and go on tour with Six?
Well, I can tell you, my mum was fuming because I took all my stuff from my house for 3 years and moved it into my mum's house and said, see ya! She was livid because obviously I had nowhere else. I was going on tour, and I had to move out of my house in Guildford. So I was like, so all my stuff went to my mum's house and it took over the living room up until about 2 years ago. I know she was like, can you come and move your stuff now? Finally, now that I've officially got my own house, that I've finally taken my stuff with me. She's fuming. But yeah, that was mental, because obviously I've never done a tour before, and I'm so glad that it was the length it was, because I think if it was any longer, I'd be ripping my hair out. Like 6 months for me, I think, was long enough, because you are constantly living out of a suitcase. Yeah. And we were lucky because we did get like breaks in between, but you are fully living out of a suitcase, and you're always like, oh, I wish I brought that, and you always overpack, and can't bother with that. Like, but it was so much fun because I'm such a travel bird. Like, I love to see different places, even just places around the UK. So if I didn't get to go on tour, I wouldn't have got to see as many places as I did. Like, I got to spend a month in Edinburgh. I would have never done that before. And I got to see so much of the Edinburgh Fringe. I've never been, and being able to perform at the Edinburgh Fringe and going to see things. And I just loved it. And I really enjoyed tour. Like 6 months of tour, yes, probably any more than that. I'd be like, I don't want to tour anymore. But yeah, I really enjoyed tour.
And with tours, I've heard that you have to like learn how to keep yourself healthy and keep your voice healthy more so on tours than when you're staying in place.
So I learned the hardest way possible, and I will never make that mistake ever again. Of I just was so not excited is the wrong word, but like so full of energy all the
Yeah.
time, and I would give 100% every single time I went on stage, and that really came to bite me on the bum about 2 months in. I got really poorly when I was on tour, and I was poorly for the remainder of the tour. And that was like a big eye opener of like, you can't burn your candle at both ends. You really, really can. And you need to be able to make your 70% look like 100%. And it's the only way it's going to carry you through. Like, don't get me wrong, you can give some shows
Yeah.
100%, but you cannot keep that up 8, 9, 10 times a week, plus doing press, plus traveling across the UK, plus trying to get sleep, trying to eat, because when you're touring, every venue that you go to, you have to do a get-in, you have to do a tech, and you have to do a dress run, and
It's so much.
that's not how you work in the West End. Like, you do your tech, you do your dress run, and then you do your previews, and then you open. Whereas on tour, it's every single venue you go to, and if you're changing, say, week by week, it's tough. It is so tough, and that's the part they don't tell you, that it's not easy, because you're working in the day, and then you're working at night, and it's just a repetitive cycle of you're not getting any sleep, you're probably not getting time to probably eat properly. If you're dancing around on stage, you don't want to eat a big meal before you go on, so you have a snack, and it's like that for ages. And oh gosh, I learned the hard way. And even when I got into the West End, I was like, I'm never making that mistake ever again. I'm fully gonna give myself the love and attention and care that I need, because I suffered on tour. I really suffered on tour.
I would probably be sick for like the whole 6 months if
Yeah,
I went on a tour.
I was good for like July, August, and it got to September, and I got labyrinthitis, which is an ear infection.
Oh my God, no.
And then I got vertigo from having labyrinthitis. And then I got a bladder infection, and then I got it was just horrific. Any itis that you could have, I got it. I got it. Every single one of them, I got it. And I was just so fed up and but like I was worn out. I was really worn out. And I remember I said to my mom, I was like, I need to go to the doctors. I don't know what's wrong with me. And she took me, and they were like, your body is under so much stress that like if you carry on this way, you won't make it to the end of your tour. And I was like, oh
You're
my
like, God.
yeah, they were like, you really need to like nip it in the bud now. But that having vertigo, if you've ever had vertigo, oh my gosh, I don't wish it on my worst enemy. It is the worst. The worst.
Oh my, yeah.
I still have it now sometimes, because it messes up with your ears. It's really bad. Oh,
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, I don't want to imagine, but I can't imagine.
don't imagine.
I can't imagine, but I don't want to. So, when was the point during the tour when you realized that Six was going to be huge and was going to be around for probably a while?
It wasn't really the tour, actually. I think, no, to be fair, when we were in Edinburgh, like, it blew up there. I remember, like, the first performance we did in Edinburgh, we had, like, 6 people in the audience. It was hilarious. And then, like, a couple of shows after that, it was, like, sold out. No one could get a ticket. It was, like, beg, borrow, steal for a ticket. We sold out every single night. There was never a seat, like, free. And I was like, wow, like, this is a good musical, like, yeah. I think people like it. And then it wasn't until, like, I think we got to the West End, like, when we did, like, our second transfer, because obviously we did the West End when we were on tour. And then when we moved to the West End for, like, the West End contract, I think it was around, like, the February time, maybe March time. I think it was around, like, when we did the What's on Stage Awards, that I remember turning around to the girls and I was saying, don't know what's in the water, but something's happened. Something has changed. And it just seemed to go wild. Like, stage door was rammed and you couldn't get out at night, and you'd end up being at stage door for like an extra half an hour to an hour after you'd finished the show. And I was never off my phone because I was getting so many messages. And I was over thinking, when did this happen? Like, what happened? Like, we've been doing the same show, and all of a sudden it just blew up. Like, it proper blew up. And I was just like, wow, this is a good show.
I talked to Amy and she said it was like you all were the Spice Girls.
Yeah, it was like we were like a girl band. I just remember thinking, and yeah, it was wild. It was wild.
That's crazy. So I have to know, did your portrayal of Catherine change at all from the tour to West End?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Because there was parts of the script that changed and stuff, and that did give like a different side to Catherine and gave a different intention to her journey. So I'd definitely say the way I played her at the beginning is completely different to how I ended. And also, thank God I did, because I was. If I look back on it now, I'll be like, oh my God, that's terrible. That's the worst acting I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you just grow with a character, and obviously the longer you play it and the more you do it, you leave a part of yourself with the character, but you definitely do change things, and you find different things as time goes on that you maybe didn't see at the beginning, because obviously you're so hell-bent on learning the choreography and learning the songs and trying to get everything right that you're probably not implementing everything. So it does take a while, and obviously when the dust settles, you're like, wow, I'm in it now.
And there's, speaking of choreography, you were saying earlier that you started with dance later, and there's some choreography in six. And
I
you
tell
have that
you
now.
now, I struggled. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I struggled. And thank God, Carrie Ann is my spirit animal, and we get on so well because she was so patient with me. Because I remember there was one specific choreography day, and I remember it was a Wednesday, and I just remember I stood, and she looked me in the face. I had tears in my eyes, and I said, I can't do this anymore. And she was like, go home, obviously decompress, let yourself. And I remember I got to the train station and I rang my mum, and I had a meltdown, a proper, like, near enough wailing on the platform kind of cry. People were staring at me because I was like, crying over choreography. If I look back now, like, obviously, I obviously had other things going on at the same time, because we obviously learned all the songs, learning so it was just, everything was on top of me at once. Remember, I had like self tapes and something else to do as well, and I was just so stressed out. And I stood there, and I've not thought about that in a very long time actually, but I cried like some serious sobs on this train platform. And the next day I got up, and I remember just thinking, right, here we go, let's just do it. And once I got that out of my system, I just kind of picked myself up, dust myself off, and carried on. Because I really did struggle with the choreography. I found it really hard because I've never danced like that before. Not I'm not like, I had rhythm, but I've never danced like that before. And I think when I finally got it under my belt, I was absolutely fine. Like I was absolutely fine. I was like, I don't know why I stressed myself out so much over it. But yeah, the choreography, it's changed so much in comparison to what it was right at the beginning. It's still hard, but it was really hard back in the day. Really, like, we had like Carrie Ann had to make it simpler because we couldn't sing at the same time.
Yeah, that's hard to sing and dance at the same time. And it, like, even if the choreography is easy, like doing two things at once.
Yeah, I like Ex-Wives, I kid you not, is like a marathon. It is the hardest number. It is, if you're not fit, oh my gosh. I remember when I got asked to go back to six, and obviously I've not done it in like 3 months. Oh, I could barely even do it. I was so out of breath. It's hard, and you don't realize how much stamina you lose. Like, if someone asked me to do Ex-Wives now, I'd have to tell you to bugger off because I won't be able to do it. Honestly, so it's Ex-Wives is tough because it's relentless. Because you have Ex-Wives, then you go straight into Ex-Wives Reprise, then you go into No Way, then you go into the one you've been waiting for. It's just the beginning of the show is so hard,
And it's
so
just
hard.
90 minutes straight, no intermission.
Mm.
So that's even crazier.
Yeah, I think we counted it once. I think we leave the stage for 30 seconds. And if you play Cleves,
Yeah.
you actually never leave the stage until like right near the end, where we go off like right at the end of All You Want to Do. That's the first time Cleves leaves the stage. And it's literally for no more than 20 seconds. So probably in all, you get about 30 seconds, 50 seconds off stage in 75 minutes.
To like collect yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
We used to
not a lot.
say we used to say it's like getting on a train or getting on a roller coaster and you can't get off until it's
Exactly.
finished. Like you don't get off. You just have to do the journey.
Yep, keep going, keep going, keep
Yeah.
going. So do you remember the day you made your West End debut and what was going through your mind that day?
I was so scared. Like, cause it's something that I'd dreamed about for so long and thing that you think about, but I never thought it was going to happen. I was like, oh, it's never going to happen to me. So I was so excited, and I just remember being so overwhelmed because it didn't even really feel like opening because we'd we'd obviously already opened the show like in Norwich, so that like obviously I was petrified for that, but I was petrified for the West End. But because we'd done like previews beforehand, when it actually came to opening night, I was like, as if we're opening tonight. It was that very much surreal feeling. But yeah, what a night that was. The party afterwards was amazing as well.
I yes, that's always the best part. Parties and food and
Yeah,
everything that comes with the parties.
yeah, absolutely.
And everyone's celebrating you making your West End debut, and it's just a
Yeah,
blast.
my mum and my godmother came with me. Like I gave them my tickets for the press night, and we all went to the after party afterwards, and we just had the best night. It was just so much fun.
They were probably like crying in the audience watching you on stage.
No, never, never.
They just hid it from you really well. They secretly were. So, what kind of research goes into playing a role like Catherine Parr? That's like in the show. I know the characters kind of change a little bit from like history because like they form a girl group, and obviously that didn't happen in history.
Yeah.
But you still probably had to do research for the role.
Yeah,
So
so we had a very like I want to say extensive like rehearsal research period because obviously we had to remember that these names are real women. They're not
yeah,
just characters. They're not a character. They're real people. Um, so and there is a lot of weight carrying that as well because you are playing a real person, even though we're playing a persona. Obviously, I'm playing a persona of Catherine Parr because I'm trying to be a girl from a girl band as well. Do you know what I mean? So it is different, but it wasn't very extensive. We did have to do a lot of research into the real life queens and what it was really like to live 500 years ago, and what it was like for women. Um, and yeah, I remember watching a documentary. A lady called Lucy Worsley did these like a 3 or 4 part series about the queens, and it was so coincidental because that like came out at the exact same time we started rehearsals. So I'm just finishing rehearsals one day and like going home and like watching the whole series. But they're really, really good and really, what's the word? Informative, and you learn a lot that you wouldn't just learn just reading on Wikipedia or whatever. Yeah, and the lives are really interesting. So obviously, when it come to actually playing her on stage, you had to just take like I'd say her personality features rather than pretend to be her, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Because obviously you have to honor Catherine Parr, you have to honor the person, but ultimately I was inspired by Alicia Keys. So, like, do you know what I mean? So you have to stay true. You stay true to the person, but to a certain degree.
yeah. And how do you think the song "I Don't Need Your Love" what like can like helps the audience understand Catherine and her journey? Because like that's such a deep song. I feel
Mm.
like.
Well, speaking to Toby about "I Don't Need Your Love," he actually wrote "I Don't Need Your Love" way before Six. He wrote it as like a standalone song, and like bits of he wrote like the first bit, and then when the like were like, oh, we want to put it in the musical, we want to make it Catherine Parr's
Yeah.
song. That's when they added the whole like I was a writer. I got all those bits at the end that actually like link it back to a life. The bit before, they obviously like they rewrote and made it fit in with Catherine Parr and stuff. But it was a standalone song beforehand. And I was like, oh my gosh, no way. But it's the bit in the other than Heart of Stone. It is the other bit in the show where where the atmosphere kind of goes.
Yeah.
And it's obviously because it's right near the end. It is like scary singing that song because obviously people wait 60 minutes to see you sing it, and you have to live up to the expectation of the musical, because obviously it's amazing up until that point, and it's like, oh god, it is scary because it does bring, like, obviously the atmosphere down, not in a bad way, but it just makes you like center in on the story. I mean, obviously I think that's definitely why it's there, because it goes woof again with a I don't need your love, whoa, whoa, in the reprise. So but like in terms of like it like relating to Catherine, like I think it's the perfect song for her, because it shows her like softer, more vulnerable side, and her more like, okay, I understand my duty, I understand what I need to do here, and her methodical thinking. But then it also shows her defiance, her strength, the feistiness that she's got inside of her towards the end of it. So I think it's the perfect song for that character. It's the perfect placement for the song as well. Yeah, it's just a banger.
I was gonna say it's such like it's an empowerment song. Even though it like it's not like the upbeat song, it's still an empowerment song.
Very much so.
It might be one of the most empowering songs in the musical, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's like you don't need anyone.
Yeah, like I don't need your love. It is kind of like it is that message of like I don't need your love, like I just need me.
Yes. What's your favorite song besides that song in the musical?
No Way.
Okay, yeah.
I really like No Way.
Yes, I can get on with that. What song has the hardest choreography? I'm curious.
Okay. Hardest choreography for me back in the day that I really struggled with was Don't Lose Your Head, because it was really really like fiddly. But in terms of like stamina, all I want to do, all you want to do, all I want to do, what all you want to do, all you want to do. Oh, there you go. That for the length of it, because it's 7.5 minutes, and obviously it's right near the end. For, like me as Catherine Parr, I've already done up to that point, and then I've got to slow it down and do a ballad and then try and pick it up again. Do you know what I mean? So that was, I used to find All You Want to Do really difficult because it was so long. And each time you did it, like a little bit of it would change. So like it was all very repetitive choreography, but like a tiny bit of it would change. Like the way you'd face would be different, or like the way you'd touch would be different, or so you had to remember all these little things. So that I used to find that difficult just because of its length. Like that, yeah. And then the fact that I used to have to come on like, I don't need your love, no. I'd be well out of breath.
And trying to save your breath and your voice for your song.
Obviously once I got fitter, like it wasn't a problem. I could do that with my eyes closed and then sing my song full pelt and it wouldn't matter. Yeah. Gosh, I was still that fit. I'm no longer that fit.
I mean, I don't believe, but
no, I've contended with the pandemic. I'm definitely not that fit anymore.
Okay, fair, but none of us are.
Oh, thank God.
None of us are. So we're all at the same level.
Yeah.
So 6 had a lot of memorable moments probably for you, because like you got award nominations and you got to perform at like on TV probably in shows. What was the most memorable part of being part of that cast for you?
Oh, there's so many. Like you've probably heard of them all, but like the Olivier's probably is one of them, definitely. But even for me, I think the sing-along, the first sing-along that we did was just epic. Like I've never ever come off stage feeling like that. I can't even explain what it was like. If I could bottle that feeling and drink it on a daily, woof, I could probably save the world, honestly. Like it was just some other feeling. And then another one was our final show, our last show that we all ever did together. Oh, that was just something else. It really, really wasn't. Even though I've gone back and done it since to help with illness and for nothing, the show will never feel like that again. Never, ever, ever feel like that again. And it really was like a chapter closer, but it was just that we all went out with like such a bang, like such a bang. It was just the most amazing experience ever.
I did see that you went back to like save the day a couple times with the show. What is that?
Twice.
What is that pressure like?
Oh, it's terrifying because the first time I went back, it was 3 months to the day that I'd left. And I'd not done the show in 3 months. And And the thing is, I'd sometimes forget the show after a week if I'd been on holiday. So you can imagine 3 months not doing it. I was sat on the train going over all the choreography, and when I left as well, they changed some bits. So it was different. So I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to have to relearn this stuff. And I was trying to go through all my lines. And if you asked me to do it now, I would never be able to go back now because the show's, again, it's completely different. They've redone things that I'd probably get wrong. So, oh gosh, it was terrifying. But I didn't get time to be nervous. I remember people asking me like, were you nervous? I didn't get time. It was fight or flight. It was like, Maiya, can you do the show? Right, okay, I'm coming. And where's the choreography? I need the script. I just went into like beast mode. I don't remember until like actually getting off the stage afterwards and being like, wow, I just did that. That's when it hit me like, wow, that just happened, because I was on autopilot just to get it right. And then obviously I went back like 2 weeks later to London because I did one in Manchester, and then I did one in London just after Christmas. But I didn't have to go over anything then because I remembered it. So all I did was get off my train, go and get ready, put my costume on, and go and do the show. Like it wasn't as scary as doing it when I'd not done it for 3 months. I remembered everything that I needed to do, and I was just like, I said to the girls like, can we just run over the first scene? I'll just go over my song with Casey downstairs. Like, I wasn't nervous for that. I just went on and did it.
People are probably so excited to see you on.
People couldn't believe it because obviously the Arts Theatre had like kept my name and stuff. Like, they'll still have it to this day. Like, obviously, if I ever did went back or had to fill in or something like that. Like some other people not believing that, because obviously rumour mill and things like that.
Yeah.
We were like, oh, who's going to go on tonight? And everyone was like, oh, I bet it's going to be Maiya. And then people obviously got to the theatre and my name was up and people couldn't believe it, so they were buzzing.
That's amazing. I'm sure there were many fan moments of the show that like stand out to you. Do you have like a favorite that you'll always remember?
Oh, the sing along. That was something else. That was just crazy. And I remember a woman came up to me. I remember I don't think it was a sing along. I can't remember when it was. It was just like a normal stage door. And we were chatting away, and she was just saying all these really lovely things, but like things that were like really hitting me in the heart. I was like, oh God. And she was just like, I think she even said to me like, people around you must be so proud of you. And there I was crying my eyes out in the middle of the stage door. And I just felt like, and it's so nice that to know that you have like an impact on somebody else's life just doing what you love to do. Like, you're not even really trying, and you're helping people, and so it is really lovely.
Yeah, and everyone loves Six so much. So it's like, to this day, you still make an impact on people's lives who were fans of the show, because people will go back over and over again to see Six.
Yeah, definitely.
So before lockdown started, you were set to be in a show called Cases. And I saw it had happened in 2017, but it was a new musical that was going to West End Theater?
So back in 2017, I think it was, Dom, I'd say, finished writing this musical and wanted to do like a workshop, wanted to like promote his work, and they did I want to say like a cabaret kind of thing, with 4 people obviously playing the characters and Cases. They did it at the Phoenix Arts in London, and just like invited loads of people just to see it and just to get the word out that he was writing songs and writing a musical and stuff. And then after then, I think he went back and did some like rewrites and wrote some more songs for it and stuff. I think at the time, say, it only had 10 songs, and now it's got like 15 or 16 songs, let's say. Wow. I can't remember how many it is, but like I'm just throwing out a number. Like he wrote more songs and he tweaked things and stuff. Obviously, that's what happens when you write a musical. Like you go back and you work stuff and things like that. So yeah, then in so it was like around this time actually. So around this time a year ago, I got a call from a previous agent and was like, oh, this guy Dominic's been in touch and really would like you to be a part of his showcases. And I was like, oh, okay. But then I can't remember what happened, but we couldn't make it work for some reason. There was something, I was doing something else at the time and I had something else on, and I was like, oh, I don't know whether we're going to be able to make rehearsals work and stuff like that, because there was only 4 of us. They were like, oh, we're going to work rehearsals around you. Like, we're not going to set a rehearsal schedule. And then the other rehearsal schedule we were going to set was like 2 weeks before, so they could do like a proper rehearsal period for the show. And then I remember it was like the last week of January, and we'd already decided like I wasn't going to be able to do it. I was gutted because I was like, oh, I really wanted to do that. See, this is what I mean. Everything happens for a reason. And then I remember it was like 9 o'clock on a Monday evening. My previous agent rings me, and I was like, why are they ringing me 9 o'clock at night? I answered, and they were like, okay, they really, really, really want you to be a part of Cases. They'll pay for your train ticket to come down to London tomorrow, and you'll start on Wednesday. And I was like, what? So literally, they bought me my train ticket. Tuesday night, I was down to London, and then Wednesday, I met everyone, started learning the music, and that's when my Cases journey started. And then obviously up until the pandemic, because we were supposed to run in April, it got closed. But I'm so glad that we got to do the cast recording together, me and Andrew, and then Bobby Little and Waylon Jacobs, they came in December. But Bobby did it before, so Bobby did it in 2017. So she came back and did the album, which was amazing. So yeah, it's just, I cannot wait for everyone to hear it. Like, I feel like it's just a masterpiece. It's just amazing, honestly.
I was gonna say, I'm sure it's not over. I'm sure it'll come back when theater does come back.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Like, I really am hoping that this is just the beginning of Cases. I really do hope that we get to do something with it, because it'd be gutting if not, because it's such an amazing show, and I just want everyone to see it. Like, even if I said to Dominic, I was like, even if we just to get to do like one night at the Palladium or something, that would be great. Like, I was just like, even if we just did one night just for people to see it, it would be amazing. And he was just like, oh, like, I don't know, I'll have to see if we can get it to work. And obviously I know it's that whole thing at the minute. It's like, as and when.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what can you tease about Cases that like give people a reason to come see the show when it does happen? I'm gonna put it out when it does happen.
When it does happen. The music, honestly, I cannot wait for the album to come out, because the music is unreal. And the songs in it are just gorgeous. And my favourite songs to sing now, 100%. They're just the message that they have in them, and the thing is as well, it's a new musical. That is enough reason to come and see a new musical, new musical people's writing and stuff, and Dominic, I think at the time, like last year, I think even still now, he was going to be like the first Black British composer to put on a piece of his work at the other Palace. Like, and like, how amazing is that? So I think if I'm right, that is the correct title. But like, what an achievement!
Yeah.
And I said to Dom even last year, I was like, whatever happens with Cases, I am there for the long run, because I want to be a part of this.
And how amazing for someone to want you to be in a new show. Like, that's every theater performer's dream.
Yeah, I am such like, I love new musicals. I love anything new. I love new writing. I just want to like champion and pioneer like new work. Even if it's not me in it, I always want to be like, yes, new musical, share it everywhere. Just like, not saying anything wrong with like long-standing musicals. It's just so nice to see other people's creativity have a story, and being able to tell that story as well. That, yeah, there's no better feeling.
Speaking of long-standing musicals, you touched a bit on Rent at the beginning, and you were supposed to do it live on stage, but they figured out a way for it to happen during this time period. How do you think, like, how did people come together and like reign together and make it happen, make the show happen?
Oh, by the seat of our pants. Obviously we all worked so hard, but those last couple of days was very much like, we're just gonna try and do everything we possibly can to film this. It was one of them, like, let's pull up your big girl knickers and let's just get it done. Yeah. Because otherwise we didn't know if we were going to have the opportunity. Because when we got told on the Saturday that it was going to be closing as of that week, we weren't clear on whether we were able to even actually fully open the show, because we were in previews. Like, we were supposed to have like 6 weeks to film the show and it be put together and then be broadcast. It wasn't going to be a matter of 2 shows that were going to be put together. It was going to be loads of different shows that were all put together. So it was very much like, right, let's pull up our pants, we've got a job to do. But it was just whenever and however, and by hook or crook, if that can come back, I will be in it. There's no two ways about it. I will be 100% going back into that, because it was just, I've got this thing where I need to honor my projects. I can't just abandon them. I need to close the book on it. So that, like with Cases as well, I until I get to perform that on stage, that is not finished for me. Until I get to open Rent and do my run, I'm not finished.
And I'm sure people will be happy to hear that.
I would go back in a heartbeat. If they told me tomorrow we're opening, I'd say, right, okay.
Okay. When?
If you pay me, I'll do it.
I'll do 2 shows at once. I don't care.
Yeah. What an experience. Like, that was like such a passion project for me. It's one of them where I was like, if I ever get to do that show again, because I did it when I was younger, like life made, and the opportunity to do it again, because obviously I know it doesn't come around often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the character of Mimi too.
Yeah, dreams for me.
It's iconic. What was your favorite song to sing in the show, Rent? I know you didn't get to do it long, but what was your favorite song to sing?
Oh, I loved Singing Out Tonight, just because I really loved like the way we went with it. I had so much fun singing that song, and being able to perform it. Well, I can't even speak. But being able to perform it like in the way we created it together, I just love doing that. And I love doing Without You as well, because singing with Tom.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Tom is just something else. So the first time he ever opened his mouth, I literally was like, as if I get to sing with you, like, what a good day.
Thank you.
I was like, thank you, everyone. I remember saying to him, I said to him on the first day, I was like, you're going to be so easy to fall in love with. Thank you.
The chemistry is going to be so easy here.
Yeah, I was like, thank you for making my job really easy, because you are amazing.
Yes, I love that. So I always get curious to ask, when people portray roles that have been around for a long time, how did you make Mimi your own and put your own spin on it?
Oh, I think because I'd done it when I was younger, I can't remember how I did it when I was younger, because I was like 16, but I just remember like the way I felt doing it. And not that I wanted to recreate that, but I knew there was so many more like layers to Mimi that like don't get shown. Because Mimi, I think people just think of her as this young, naive girl who works in a strip club and is a druggie and is on a really bad path. But I like have so many other feelings about Mimi, and I feel like she doesn't get the credit she's due, and that's what I wanted to show during like my portrayal of Mimi. I wanted to show her that people, that she's so much like stronger than you think. Like the drugs she takes and the path she's gone down, it does not define her. And that's like with any situation in life, like something that happens to you, a situation that happens to you does not define you. And that was very much the stance I wanted to take with Mimi, and I hope it came across.
It's what makes theater special, live theater, that people get to see different people playing iconic roles like Mimi. So like seeing you put your own spin on it.
Yeah, I wanted to show Mimi's like extreme highs and her like low of lows. So I wanted to make her highs even higher and her lows even lower, to really show that like she's just human. It's what happens in life. One minute you're up and then the next minute you're down. And I just had a lot of fun with her, because I feel like she's just a little bit silly. She's not, like, people forget she's 19 years old.
Yeah.
She's not a woman. I'm not saying you're not a woman at 19. That's not what I mean. But like, you still got so much more to experience. You've not even reached your 20s yet. You've probably not met everybody you're going to meet. She's so like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and so probably ready for the world. And yeah, she's just so excited by everything, isn't she? And she's so spontaneous. And I always said that I would love to, like, if I could take something from Mimi, I want to take a spontaneity. She doesn't, like, not that she doesn't think before she does, but she lives in the moment, like no day but today. She's really there. She's she's not here to mess about. She's here to live a life, and if she wants to go and do that, she'll go and do that, and she'll reap the consequences later. But she just lives her life and has fun while doing so. And I think that's the best thing about her, and I wish I could take that part of it from her.
Exactly. And you've played so many iconic roles, and you've gotten to do basically everything in such a short period of time. Like, you've gotten to be in original shows, rehearse for original shows that are still gonna happen.
That's still gonna happen. Yeah,
They're
we
still
put it
gonna
out to the
happen.
universe.
What's your dream role that you haven't taken on yet?
Oh, I would love to play Dina in Dreamgirls. That would be
Ooh.
really cool. I'd love, oh my gosh, Dorothy and the Wiz. That for me, wanna be Dorothy and the Wiz big time. Yeah. I would also really like to be Kathy in Last 5 Years.
Yes. I
I'd
love
really like to do
it so
that.
much.
Yeah, I'd really like to do that. What else would I like to do? I think they're probably like my main 3, I think.
I was gonna say, speaking of emotional shows that make you cry, like Ren, the last 5 years. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah. I saw Last 5 Years when I was like 16 in this like little like venue in Manchester, and it was amazing. It was amazing. I loved every second of it, and I think from then I just loved it.
It's so creative.
Yeah, it really is. I'd love to be in Songs for a New World as well, to be fair.
Oh,
I'd love to do
okay.
that. Even though what they're not really called like characters, are they? They're called like players or
Yeah, hey, it's
call them, but
still,
yeah,
but
like
still.
character 1 or whatever.
I have to know, I have to backtrack a little maybe, but what's the funniest thing that ever happened on stage during Six? That might
Oh,
not be funny then,
there's,
but it's funny now.
there's so many, so many. And Nat's eyelash fell off mid-show. Amy's glasses once popped out of Holbein, and I turned to her and she had no hole in one of her glasses, and I was gone. I was laughing. Millie always used to do things to make you laugh, always. And if you ever like dared Millie to do anything on stage, she would do it. Like she would do it. Like she would live up to it 100%. She doesn't mess about. Yeah, Millie always used to make me laugh. Amy used to Irish dance, which really used to make me laugh. Like honestly, there was so many things, so many. We used to have a ball on stage. We really, really, really did.
That's why the fans loved it so much, because they saw you all having fun.
And we were just like being us. But half the time we were just being us.
And they see it. They see the real chemistry. They see the friendship. They see girl power on stage.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why it became what it became.
Mm.
So you kind of mentioned this earlier, but how do you work on self-confidence in this industry? Because like as you said, you can get a role and you can like get a no for another role, and it's still heartbreaking.
I think one of the biggest things is like I say, like I listen to my own self, but like not comparing yourself to other people, because obviously that is really gonna like put a damper on your confidence. And I've said this quote like for the past couple of years, and I'll say it again, and I've said it on the past couple of Zooms and stuff, but like you can only be a second class somebody else and a first class you. You can only give what you've got. Don't try and be somebody else. That's not your strength. That's like, why would you ever want to be somebody else when you are you? And that's easier said than done, because I have done it. I still do it. I still compare myself. I still say, why can't I do that? But look what I do have to give, and give that side of it. Give what you've got. And just believe in yourself. And I know that sounds so fickle and so like throw away, but it is that self-worth thing. It is that I know what I am worth. I know what I'm capable of. It's your affirmations really, like I am strong, I am this, I am that. Like it's the I ams, and play up to that, and set yourself targets and goals that you're going to absolutely smash out the park. Because, and I also say with confidence as well, do something that's outside of your comfort zone, because ultimately that will make you more confident. You will never find comfort and confidence in your comfort zone, ironically called your comfort zone.
True.
So
You got to like stretch yourself.
yeah, you won't ever go to your full potential and your full ability if you don't, like you say, stretch yourself, if you don't push yourself, if you don't put yourself in sometimes uncomfortable like situations. because you're only going to come stronger out of it. So
Yep. And I feel like you got to learn also to not be like your worst enemy, because I feel like theater performers, you all judge yourself harder than anyone else.
Yeah, the self-critique, I always say, like, I can take criticism, don't get me wrong, but that my harshest critic is me.
Yep.
Not you. Not like I am my harshest critic. I don't need you to dampen my work, because don't worry, I do it for myself. So it is that, and it's also another thing of like not really listening to what other people say. Obviously, if someone notable is coming up to you and you're giving you some like really good advice, or someone that you really care about and really knows you, then fair enough. But someone that doesn't know you, don't let their comments get into your head. Like, if someone comes to see a show you're in and writes a review and you get a bad review, so what? It's one person's opinion. Everybody has opinions. That opinion is not truth.
Yeah. I like seeing shows for myself, so like
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like reading reviews anyways.
Yeah.
To be honest. So do you have anything else that you've been working on during this time, during this weird time, whether it's theater related or not, that you'd want to promote or talk about?
Well, I've been working with the girls. I've been doing 7.
Oh.
So we've got some exciting things coming up, which is fun, because obviously with everything going on, it's really hard to obviously get together and things like that. So we've been obviously like planning some things for when we like can get together and can work things out, which is really fun, because it gives you something to look forward to, doesn't it? And obviously gives us something that we can give back. So yeah, we've got some fun things in the pipeline for 7, which will be really exciting. Obviously now finally Cases has been announced, which we've been working on, which I'm just really excited for that. I really, really, really am, and I just cannot wait for everyone to see it, because or hear it or whatever. It's just amazing. It really, really is. So that's just so exciting. And because it was like a pitched idea that Dom said to me like last June, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I didn't hear anything for like 6 months, and I was like, oh, it's not happening. And then he randomly messaged me, like I'd been in contact with him, but he randomly messaged me being like, are you free next Tuesday? And I was like, yep, why? He's like, we're going in the studio. I was like, whoop whoop. So yeah, Cases 7. Fingers crossed, Rent, when the ancestors answer my prayers.
Yes, it's all gonna happen. It's all gonna happen eventually. Theater's gonna come back. And speaking of theater coming back, what are you most excited about when live theater does come back?
Live theatre. You've just said it. Like, I cannot wait to sit down in a theatre and just hear an overture and the curtains. I will cry my eyes out. I will cry so hard, because I don't think anything will ever replace live theatre. And I do think it's fabulous that over these past couple of months, I will say, months, the past year,
Yeah.
that like
Yeah.
theatre become more accessible because of it being online and things like that. But I don't think anything will ever, ever, ever take away from the magic of live theatre.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for that. The adrenaline, the inspiration you feel, like, oh, if I could bottle that and rub it on my skin, oh, it'd be world peace. It would be world peace, telling you.
It's so special. Like, virtual theater is great, but you don't hear the applause. You like.
Yeah.
You're
It's
not
just not, like, it is amazing, but it's just not the same. And you always hope that like it will transcend through. Because obviously, like films, it happens in films, but obviously films are tailor-made a certain way cinematically. When a musical's filmed, it's probably not filmed in the same way as a film, film. So, like, you always hope that you can get it across. And that was the scariest thing, obviously, when filming, like Rent, for example, is hoping that what you do on stage transcends across camera and screen and all of that. So, yeah, nothing will take away from live theatre, and I can't wait until I can sit my booty in a seat and watch some theatre.
Yeah, and hear the candy wrappers and everything annoying, and the audience.
Yeah, people coughing and things like that. I don't mean coughing like ill, but I mean, just people clearing the throat and shoveling past you because they're in the middle and you're at the end, and the ice cream in the interval and things like that. Just
I worked Frozen last year in Hollywood, and I can't wait to hear like kids coughing in the audience again.
Yeah, like people clearing the throat and like say rappers go in and all sorts.
Yeah, it's like they were so annoying at the time, but now
I'd like give anything to hear it.
Now I miss them. So where can people follow you on social media to keep up with what you're up to and what you're going to be doing in the future?
Yeah, definitely my Instagram, definitely my Twitter, MAYJQB. That's me. It rhymes. Get to know.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely I'll probably say my Instagram and my Twitter, definitely. They're like my main platforms. I don't really use any other platform. But my Instagram, you will definitely be updated on everything I will be up to on there. 100%. Give me a follow.
Yes. I'll put the links in the description and in the lower third. So for everyone who doesn't know.
And probably follow 7 as well, because there'll be definitely some updates on 7. Cases 7, follow them too.
Yes. So thank you so much for talking to me on this. It's been
anytime. It's been fun.
I was so glad to have you on and talk about Six and everything, because God knows I listen to the Six soundtrack on repeat all the time.
Oh, bless you.
It's so good. It's one of my favorite musicals, even though I haven't seen it live.
Oh, I can't wait for you to see it live, then you're going to love it.
Yeah, I'm going to love it even more, and I'm going to be like, okay, now I'm even more obsessed. Thanks for watching this episode of Backstage with Becca B. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV. Or for more exclusive content from this interview and more, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Backstage with Becca B. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video, or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and give me a 5-star rating. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!